Hi everyone, and let me introduce myself a little bit and my colleague. I will speak first, and then I will give word to the Belect. We are solution engineers and helping with technical pre-sales consulting in Oracle. So our presentation today will be about database security, and first I will start about common trends and like industry landscape, how we look at database security, and then I will cover the DBSAT tool, database vault option, and Audit vault and database firewall product. And my colleague Belect will cover advanced security, key vault, and data masking and subsetting pack. So let's take a first look about about nowadays what is happening in security. So, for example, since 2019 to 2020. The number of data breaches are doubled. So it was around 2,000 breaches in 2019 and almost 4,000 in 2020. You can see on this slide that largest enterprises are suffering from the data breaches. So the data information security is important for every company, either it's small business or it's large enterprise. So everyone are in danger now because attackers are constantly monitoring all the internet and trying to find the vulnerabilities, trying to find the like open doors or back doors to steal your data. So also another point that there is a lot of regulation laws around the world, which you as an organization we should should compliance with. So to be able to comply with these regulation laws, we should have necessary technologies and necessary protection for our data. And we at Oracle give this in our databases and our security products. So one more thing, Dmitry mentioned already, but I will tell it again because it is important. The situation is not equal. This is not like the fair fight, between the organization which are protecting and between the hackers which are attacking you, because you have like the several ways, the many ways basically where you can where your data can be stolen from. So it will be operating systems, web services, application services, database, so on and so on. And the problem that hackers just choose one of them. So they can have one opportunity to break your defense, but you as a defender should protect everything. So this is not equal. And moreover, in the organization, you can have like not have enough time or not have enough people to deal with security, but hackers can have all the people and all the infrastructure. So, and speaking up about database security, what is going on in the databases? And first of all, the hackers are attacking the data now. So, and in the center we have our database. We have the application which uses database and like application users. We have the test databases where the developers are introducing new features and new releases and so on. The files are physically stored on the servers and like a .dat file. So we have a storage system where the .dat files are stored, and we have administrators who are controlling all of this. And the hackers can attack your admins. They can attack users and applications. They can attack the network. They can attack even bypass the database. They can like attack the file system. You just physically stole the files from the system. You no need to access the database, just to copy the files and get it out from the organization. They can exploit database if they will get like the privileged access to the database. They can exploit, or none even privileged access. They can target the data copies in database. There is a lot of stories about it. For example, like the months ago or so, the Google and their social network, this like the Google Plus or something, they lost 500,000 users conditional in their social networks, and there was a data breach. And what they told that the database was open for developers, and it was around 496 people who are developers and who has access, full access to the test databases with all the sensitive data available and no any masking. And like there is no surprise that it has been stalled. So as I said, the hackers can attack from every from every level, from the traffic, from applications, from operating system, and so on. But we have an answer. We have what we called the maximum security architecture. And again, in the center point is our database where our sensitive data are stored. And we have applications who are work with our database, and so on, so on. So first, for the files, we can use the encryptions for the physical files who are stored on the operation system storage level. Yeah, we can encrypt them. We can save the master key outside of database in our Oracle Key Vault. My colleague Bilekt will tell about this a little bit in more details. We can protect our database from the inside with database vault. So we can like make a duty separation where you will not have like super user who can do everything. You will separate the duties between DBAs, between database data admins and account manager admins. So I will tell about this in more details a little bit later. We have data reduction. You can dynamically mask the data which goes to the applications, to the users. Yeah. For example, if you again, my Bilekt will tell about this also, but just a small example. If you have the call center and people can see like the credit card number in the call center when they're checking the user profile, but we want them to see just the 4 last digits, and that's and everything else is masked. That's why we need dynamic redaction or dynamic masking. So we can mask the sensitive data in test databases. It will not be the personal and sensitive anymore. We can log and audit everything with our Audit Vault server. So log any activity and audit any activity, implement policies, implement the kill chains, and so on. And we can collect the data from the different sources. I will tell about this a little bit more details just in a few slides. And about the traffic, the traffic coming to the database, external traffic, we have our product which is called Database Firewall, which allows you actually block the attacks, not only detect, not only the detective auditing, not only sniffing, but the real actual blocking. So I will tell about this also. And everything is going again to the Audit Vault just to audit these attack attempts. We call this. Inside the database, again, we have another technology like VPD, label security, and the application security, which Dmitry already mentioned earlier. And all this above called maximum security architecture. That's how you can really protect your data inside your databases from all the ways, from all the possible ways of attackers. And one important thing to know that all the technologies are tightly coupled, are connected with each other. So you probably want to build the full in architecture to be really sure that you protect from the application level, from the testing and developers, from the insiders who can be your operation system administrators or who can be your database administrators. I mean, not you as a database administrator, but someone or somewhat who became database administrator. So if your privileged users are compromised, if they became like insiders, this is the most danger threat, much more danger than just real users. And with all these technologies, we can protect even from the privileged users. So going on, the first question which can you ask is, okay, we have a lot of technologies here, but what I should start with? And we have an answer for this. We have the special tool, which is called Database Security Assessment Tool, DBSAT. This is free of charge tool, which is available on my Oracle support. Every database customer, who have active support can download it and run it on your database. How it works? It has the three components. It has a DBSAT collector, DBSAT reporter, and DBSAT discoverer. So the collector runs the scripts on the database and taking the information about your security, about the configuration, about the how your database configured, how the users configured, how the passwords configured, how the network encryption, the files encryption, what about the sensitive data, what about it was, I can say that more than 5,000 security parameters are checked by DBSAT. And you can use this to build your security profile about your database, to understand what is going on and where you can improve your database, where you can make some immediately changes, like change the configuration or create the password verify function if it's not created, or just, for example, if you have a lot of users in your database and they are like not active, they are not logging into the database for months, but still exists there. The DBSAT will show this, so you can delete the old users to protect yourself about to protect yourself from the attacks from previous old users. So database checking everything, they checking patches, encryptions, accounts, privileges, roles, and so on. And even more, it can discover the sensitive data and make like remarks or relations to this regulation law, like what you should change in your database to meet the requirements from the GDPR, for example, or from another regulation law. So it has these links. There is a lot of new features coming in DBSAT from every new release. For example, in latest release, the user GDPR recommendations comes to the crypt DPFIS, like another thing. So you can read more on the official documentations. And that's, as I mentioned before, how it will look like. So you downloaded DBSAT from my Oracle support. You're running the DBSAT collector script. Then the reporter transformed the JSON file from the collector to the HTML or PDF or whatever you want, so you can analyze. And you get this the report, the DBSAT report, which contains like 20 to 30 pages, and it shows, for example, it shows that you have high risk. You found one unlocked user with default password. So, and it shows medium risk. Found 21 users not using verification function, meaning they can do the simple passwords, and their remarks and the reference. What you can do with this, and so on. That's briefly. I briefly finished about DBSAT now, so I'm asking you to try it. Just go to my Oracle support, find DBSAT, and try to run it on your database and check what is about security. What you can change right now, because it's not asking you to implement something like TDE or database vault immediately. First, it will ask you to like change the configuration, check the passwords, and so on. And the next product which I want to talk about is Oracle Audit Vault and Database Firewall. one mention that I should start with. This is like the separated product, like the separated software. This is not an database option or not an enterprise manager pack. This is a product itself. It can it licensed outside of database. Not on database options, can be used not even with Oracle database. So what is this Audit Vault and Database Firewall? This is two products which allows you to monitor, audit, inspect, and even block the traffic which is coming to your database. For external traffic, we can use database firewall, and for all the internal traffic between the databases, between the systems, we're using Audit Vault. So the main difference why our database firewall are really good, that's you can really put it in the middle, yeah, between the application and between your database, and it can work like a proxy server or like the bridge. The recommended way is now it's proxy. So what does it mean? That you can actually block the attack. It will allow the good traffic to come through, but it will block the SQL injection. And why we can do this? Because we use what we call like the accurate grammar analysis. We consider the SQL expression not like a regular expression or not like the template. We are considering that this is a graph, yeah, and using model like the 400 special variables, yeah, special words, which allow us to avoid the false positive works, the false positives from database firewall. So we can really block the bad traffic and allow the good traffic to come in, which you will never get from the competitors. Yeah, they only can audit. They will never prevent. They will only detect. And this is regarding the external traffic. For the internal traffic between databases, you can use Audit Vault, which can really monitor everything, every activity, administrative activity based on before-after values. Yeah, meaning that if you want to monitor activity on the particular row or string for its changes, not for the user activity, but for the activity on the record. Yeah, so you can do this in the Audit Vault. For example, if the insider wants to change something in the database, they can use different users to change it, and it will be hard to detect the activity if you're only monitoring the user activity. So you need this before-after values monitoring. You can detect SQL injection, yeah, with database firewall. You can monitor traffic from the different sources. So database firewall works not only with Oracle database. It's one of our products, quite unique, which are not working only with Oracle database, but also working with SQL Server, with MySQL, yeah, with IBM, and the Audit Vault can even more. It can collect traffic from Postgre. It can collect traffic from the custom JSON applications, yeah, from the operation systems. So it's the solution which allows you to really audit and prevent and detect all the traffic from all different sources, not only between Oracle databases. What's new? Yeah, so again, it's the products which are developing very actively. Yeah, and what's new? So built-in PostgreSQL support, extend customer collector support, including JSON, REST, MongoDB, and so on. Simplify database firewall. So yeah, I will show you later how it looks like. It's quite a beautiful web interface console there. So many new features are coming, and Even you can even have the mobile dashboards, yeah, which shows you the alerts and which would show you the targets who are you auditing with Audit Vault. You can configure database and Audit Firewall even from the mobile device if you, for example, need to implement something immediately. And one more thing to mention, it support both cloud and on-premise environments. It can be deployed in both in on-premises and in cloud. The next product which I want to talk about, this is not a product, this the database vault. This is a paid enterprise edition database option. If we will come back to our maximum security architecture slide, we remember that in the center we have our database, and we have the files which are stored in the operation system, but also we have the database users who can access all the data, especially the privileged users. So for example, sensitive data. Who can see the sensitive data in your database? Well, first, administrator can see everything because the operation system administrator, as I mentioned before, yeah, it can see the data because it can bypass the database and just physically copy it to some source and then unpack it, and I see it not inside from a database. But here you have the decision encryption of the data. But now we are talking about another things. We're talking about this is like the backdoor. Yeah, you can store the data from the backdoor. But what about the front door? You actually have users inside the database who can see their sensitive data, and these users are like the users, yeah, who should have access to those data, the applications, the sys administrator, the sysdba, sys user, the DBAs, the cloud operation. But the problem that you probably want that your sensitive data only available for the exact department. For example, employee information available only for the HR, the financial operation only available for financial people, yeah, for accountants, for financial directors. But you probably do not want that your administrators, your database administrators, seeing all the data. It's the weak point. Yeah, you probably want to avoid these things. So, and that's why we have database vault. What database vault allows you to do? It's built the things which is called realms. It's build the realms with, above the table spaces, above the tables, so you can protect your sensitive information with realms, and only the accounts who can actually need access to this data will have access, but all the privileged accounts will be blocked, because Oracle database vault will not allow even the DBAs to see the sensitive data, how it's work. It creates two new users. It asks you to run the database configuration assistance, and it creates basically 4 users, but 2 active users. It creates DBV owner user, which will implement this HR, this realm policies for your data, and it creates DB account manager, which user will be responsible for new users creation, yeah, for password changing and so on. So your DBAs are not anymore, even the sysdba are not anymore able to see everything. They are not able to select any table. They should go to the security guys and ask them, okay, I need this, and security guys will ask them, why you need this. So as I said, yeah, their DBA have select any table privilege, and if they want select from finance sales, he will get access. But if this sales table are protected with realm, the access will be denied, and the attention of the access will be stored in the logs, so you can see it later. And even more, yeah, it can be hard to, like, okay, you can say, if we will implement something like this, it can broke our application, yeah, because we probably don't know how application will behave if it will be not available to select any table or select any particular table. And we have a simulation mode in Database Vault to deal with it. The simulation mode works. It's like they create all the database database Vault rules, but not not turn it on, not implement them in the in the product database. It's just saving the logs, and then you can analyze how application will behave if database Vault is on, and if everything is fine, yeah, then you sign the document, like everyone is agreed, like the developers saying you that application working fine, the security people saying that we are okay with the configurations, the administration, DBAs saying that we are okay with the success. Everyone signing the document, and you implement Database Vault in the live. Yeah, that's how it should work. So you can certify your applications with Database Vault. And it can sound difficult, yeah, but we have like the beautiful examples of implementing this in very large enterprise environments. For example, one of the top 5 USA banks, Wells Fargo Bank, using Database Vault for 9,900 databases. So they implemented for almost 10,000 databases, and it's still working fine. And they have this duty separation and protects data from the privileged insiders. So what Oracle Database Vault can do? It can protect sensitive data, separate our duty, and make the trusted path, yeah, for the database command rules. On this, my presentation ends, and